A very good afternoon, or should I say going da, from Edinburgh, where today we're going to be catching a flight north, 450 miles north. Now, to give you an idea of where we're going, once the Scottish mainland runs out, we've got the Orkney Islands, then we've got the Shetland Islands, and the next land that you meet in the North Atlantic Ocean is our destination for today, the Faroe Islands. Now, I've been keeping a close eye on the forecast because it's not unusual for the weather to close in pretty quickly up there and for flights to be cancelled. So if you fancy joining me to see if we can make it all the way to Tórshavn by tonight, you're very welcome. Let's go. Right, we'll just get a tram out to the airport. It's £9.50 return from the city centre, but in my eyes it's the best way to get there. There's no chance of getting stuck in traffic or something. From the city centre, your journey will take around 35 minutes. They have now extended the tram down to Newhaven, but it's still just the one line, so it's definitely not a tram network, but still, there are some interesting views along the way. And welcome to Edinburgh Airport. Now, you'll have noticed that I don't do many flight reviews on the channel these days, but I just had to with Atlantic Airways. They've got a fleet of just 5 aircraft and 2 of those are helicopters, so it's quite a rare opportunity. I hope you enjoy it.
Here's the big present to us.
Now, even though today's flight is on nothing more exciting than an Airbus A320, I'm reliably informed that it's fitted with GPS-based AR 0.1 technology, which means even if the weather does take a turn for the worse, it's still more likely to land than any other aircraft. That's what I'm told anyway. I just ripped that straight from their website. Well, that's my plane arrived, so I'm looking forward to getting away from busy Edinburgh Airport and getting to the somewhat more deserted Faroe Islands.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Atlantic Airways departure, RC 415 to the Faroe Islands.
That's fine,
Thank you very much. Cheers. Right, that's us on our way. I do not think this is a very busy flight, so if we need to swap seats or something, it should be okay. See, when you're just on your own, you've got no idea if you've gone the right way or not. I think this was the only way. I'm in my seat 5A, but I'm kind of just waiting to see. I think I would be better on the right hand side. I'm always on the wrong side, so I'll wait and see how it fills up and then I'll try and move across. Now, the flight actually ended up being a bit busier than I expected, which is a good thing, of course. I would hate to see this route dropped. Oh, and the reason for my move, well, that was to be away from looking into the sun, but in the end there wasn't that much to film from the window anyway. The cabin crew were incredibly kind and they've got me an exit row on the right hand side. Time will tell if this was a good idea to make the switch.
Collega 5 Fraser,
I'll just interrupt the captain for a moment to have a look at the seat. It's one of the better designs I've seen, to be honest, with the device holder a nice extra, although the exit rows do give loads more space than the tight regular seats. A certain Mr. Mentor Pilot has taught me to study the safety card a bit more closely, although I'm always more interested in the menu. You get free tea, coffee and water, by the way, with refills, and there's also a good in-flight magazine which quickly corrected me on the fleet size. It's 6 aircraft, Steve, not 5. This airline is going places. A sticker on the seatback suggested a Wi-Fi connection, but even with the Atlantic app downloaded, I couldn't find it. Oh, did you know that people collect these little bags? So get your offers in now for this rare example. There was a slight delay in pushing back. I think it was a baggage issue, but plenty spare time was built into the schedule to ensure an on-time arrival into Vágar. As we begin the taxi, it's reminded me on the return flight something happens during taxiing that I haven't experienced before, so be sure to stay tuned for it. That is of course Edinburgh down there, but it was a bit of a hazy day, so views out the window were few and far between. I was lucky enough to get a few glimpses of the Faroe Islands as we arrived though, and those views are the kind of magic you don't tend to forget in a hurry. But in the meantime, let's enjoy some in-flight service.
In a moment we will come through the cabin with our safe trolley, where we'll offer a free cup of coffee, tea or water. You will find our menu with the seat bucket in front of you, with a wide selection of drinks and snacks.
So I went for my free coffee as well as my favourite Faroese classic dark lager and some almonds to go with it. I love the branded cups, by the way. These small touches are always appreciated, and for such a short flight I was amazed the cabin crew came round again to offer refills. They really never stopped for the full flight. They're a real credit to the airline.
From the flight deck, cabin again, we have been able on 45 minutes. We have started on the centre towards Sule, and as we expect to land here next 25 minutes from now.
It took me a while to work out the device holder, by which time you really didn't want to be watching your phone anyway.
Please hold on with the shade. Hold your seat back level. Welcome to the Faroe Islands. Kindly keep the seatbelt fastened and keep the arm free of hand luggage until the fasten seatbelt has been switched off. Thank you and enjoy your stay.
Have a good this arm slide, please.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Welcome to the Faroes, folks. Once through security, you'll find yourself in a lovely modern terminal building, and being in the middle of nowhere, it's also a handy stop-off when you're out hiking to use the cafe and the free Wi-Fi, something I've done before and will be doing again on this trip. Oh, and the wee shop, that's where you get your bus pass. So here we are, folks, welcome to Vágar Airport in the Faroe Islands. Now this airport is actually quite away from the capital, Tórshavn, because it wasn't actually built as a civilian airport. It was built by the British military in the Second World War. So we've got about an hour and 20 minutes to wait for a bus, and that bus will take us to the capital, which is actually in another island, and that could take up to an hour to get there. But in the terminal, I've already bought my 4-day pass, and that gives me unlimited travel on all the buses and on the ferries. It cost over 50 quid, and I've actually only got about 2 full days here on the Faroe Islands, so we'll try and make as much use of that as possible. But that was a lovely flight, and there's just nothing like seeing the Faroe Islands when you fly in. It's absolutely spectacular. Right next to the fancy newer terminal is what looks like the original version. This now houses all the car rental companies, but there'll be no car for me on this trip. The public transport in the Faroes, like I say, it's a bit expensive, but it's excellent. So there's no need to rent a car or do a tour. You can easily get around on the buses and the ferries, and I'll try and show you some of that over the next couple of days. But unfortunately, my bus to Tórshavn isn't for another 45 minutes. So I'm going to do what I always do and go for a wee wander first. It says it's 11 degrees Celsius, but it doesn't feel it, I tell you. But I'm not complaining, it's beautiful blue sky. I wasn't expecting this. So this little sign behind me gives you an idea of the distances that we've got to go this evening. 49 kilometres to Tórshavn. If we go the other way, that takes us to Sorvagur, which is only 2 kilometres up the road there. And I think I'll be going there tomorrow to catch a ferry, but that's for next week's video. But for this evening, you can see why I'm not walking to the capital. Now over here just behind me, in fact right next to the airport, we've got this lake, and it's actually one of the most beautiful lakes in the whole of the Faroe Islands. Now the reason for it is that it flows right up to the cliff edge and then just drops into the Atlantic Ocean. It's absolutely stunning. I can't remember the name of it, and I'll pop it below just now so that if I don't get the chance to walk out there, you can at least search it on Google. Well, I didn't get too far in my 45 minutes, did I? But I'm just being ultra cautious because this bus we're going to catch tonight is the last bus of the night, so we can't miss it. So I'm just going to head back to the airport, familiarise myself a bit, find out where the bus stop is, because we are not missing this bus. Aye, we're okay. I'm just being a bit paranoid, but the bus stops right outside the front of the terminal, where it should. Hey.
This one? It's okay?
Thank you.
Thank you.
I was very happy to nab a front row seat for the bus to Tórshavn, and you'll soon see exactly why. Oh, this is the elevated runway, rising above the lake, a tricky landing I imagine, and you wouldn't want to overshoot it going the other way. Enjoy what must be one of the most beautiful airport to city transfers anywhere in the world. This route gives you a great insight into travel in the Faroe Islands, and you'll pass through a few of the famous tunnels en route as well. Thank you. We've made it to Tórshavn in daylight. Of course we have, because the sun barely sets. I think it sets at about midnight and then comes up again about 3 AM. So we're not going to have a problem with daylight hours on this trip, even though we're only here for 2 days. So now what I've got to do is try and find my apartment. I don't have any mobile signal here, but I think it's up the hill at the far end of town. I'm sure we'll find it before midnight. It'd be nice to find a wee supermarket as well and get some supplies, because I've got absolutely nothing and I'm starving. So there we go. Wow, look at that beast. Now don't worry, I will come back and have a proper look around this beautiful capital city, but just not tonight. I was actually going to do it just now, and then I was thinking it's actually 25 to 10. It's hard to believe that it's 25 to 10 at night. But I was just going to say, one of the reasons that I came to the Faroes in the first place, and that was my first visit back in 2015, was because of a novel that I read by a guy called Craig Robertson, I think. Is it Craig Robertson? But anyway, the book is called The Last Refuge. And it was set here, and down here at the harbour there was a murder, and the main character drank in Café Natur, which is that building behind me there. It was actually called Café Natur the last time I was here, but now I think it's got a different name. But anyway, we will come back maybe tomorrow afternoon. I hope the weather's still like this and we'll have a proper explore. But for now, let's go and find that apartment. Oh, a map, that's what I need. I'm here. I don't know where I'm going. Ah, it's called Essa Bar now. Essa Bar, that'll always be Café Natur to me. Tell you what, I hope I don't live to regret not doing some filming this evening, because who knows, I might wake up tomorrow and the weather's completely changed. It might be raining, might be misty, might see nothing. Oh well. But the main thing in my mind tonight is the fact that I've got no idea where I am or where this apartment is. At least we've got some daylight left. So what do you do when you're lost at 10 PM? Well, you buy pizza, of course, very expensive pizza. But there's method in my madness, because when you're buying the pizza, you ask the guy for directions. And I think we just need to go up here about another kilometre. Aye, uphill again, Steve. But I've just had a thought. I should have said to the guy, can you deliver my pizza? And then he could have just given me a lift. I swear this is barely in the same postcode as Tórshavn, but we've made it with my very expensive and now cold pizza. I think this is it. This looks right. Yes. Morning folks, I just woke up and I'm flying home today. I hope. Svalbard's Vágar, that reminds me of another group of islands I need to visit. Oof, the list is endless. Maru.
Hi.
Well, we've made it to the airport, and in the meantime the sky has cleared, so we should be fine for our flight. But the only problem is, we're way too early. That's the only bus I could get though that would get me here on time. So I'm going to walk down to the lake because I saw a horse down there. Not a real one, but yeah, let's go and see if we can find it. I'm still not really sure where you're allowed to walk in the Faroes, but I will respect fences. I'm not going to jump over those. But it looks like we're going to be going down the road. Nah, I'm not sure about this one. I think we'll walk down this way. Now, like I say, I've got some free time, but not unlimited free time, so I need to keep a wee eye on the watch. We can't be missing that flight, although I'm sure we don't have to check in too early. I think it's going to be the only flight at that time, so it's not going to be too busy up there. It's getting a wee bit boggy underfoot now. I'm not sure this is the best idea I've ever had. I could be sitting up in the airport terminal, having a wee coffee, but no, I just can't let go of these islands. Well, actually I can see a path on the other side of the fence, so I'm going to jump the fence. Sorry guys. I'll try not to do any damage to myself either. There we go, that's a bit better. Morning, pal. Now, where are you, horsey? Okay, we've made it to the lake, but I still don't see any horses. Did I imagine this? Ah, there he is. Okay, so this is a really cool legend, a bit like Kelpies back home. This horse will lure people to pet and stroke him by appearing as a beautiful horse who is kind and tame. However, once you touch his tail, you're permanently attached to him. He will never let you go, but drags you off to his home at the bottom of the lake. Better be careful, eh? I am not stroking your tail, big fella. So if you, like me, are a bit early for your flight and you've got a spare 45, 50 minutes, get yourself down here and visit the Nicks. It's okay, pal, I'll give you a wide berth. Yeah, thanks. I know they're harmless, but see when they've got horns, there's always a little bit of me is like, Crossing point, that'll do. Aye, so just be aware, if you take the track that I took, you're going to have to cross a couple of fences. And of course this was absolutely fine to go through. There we are, back at the airport. I always think it's good to be aware of little diversions like that, because airport terminal buildings these days can be very boring places, can't they? Well, my prediction of the airport being quiet didn't turn out to be accurate, as there were a couple of flights heading to Copenhagen as well as my flight to Edinburgh. I was intrigued by this arrival from Wick. Is that our Scottish Wick or is it another one? You'll find self-check-in and baggage tag terminals as well as a pretty decent allowance for carry-on luggage, well, with Atlantic Airways anyway.
okay.
Thank you. Ah, this is quite chilled for boarding, isn't it? Hello. As I made my way to seat 23A, it quickly became apparent that both passenger numbers and legroom would be a bit less on this flight than on the way out. Oh, and remember me saying there would be something new for me coming up on the taxi? Well, that's coming up right now. Let me know in the comments if you've ever had this happen.
Ladies and gentlemen, we will now brief you on the safety features of this aircraft.
Flat deck. If you have seen it already, the wind on this runway end has shifted to now being tailwind, so we are going to taxi to the other end of the runway and depart from there. Thank you.
And with that, it was goodbye to the Faroe Islands. My gaze was fixed on those last few vistas before cloud cover took over and my attention turned to lunch.
Eisen vi först ska börja så att denna första chokladen från Grangemouth och flyg in the slow at first
Lunch consisted of a lovely sandwich, coffee, and the chocolates, well, they were a gift for you-know-who. I'll leave you now with some views over Scotland as we head back down to Edinburgh, and I can only apologise for no outro summary in this video. That was down to the stress of my train being cancelled from Edinburgh back home to Montrose. The decline in reliability of travel in the UK is there for all to see, and even a small island nation in the North Atlantic Ocean easily puts us to shame. Welcome home, eh? Thanks for watching, folks. I'll see you in the next one.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Edinburgh. Kindly keep your seatbelt fastened and keep the aisle free of hand luggage until the fasten seatbelt sign has been switched off.
Edinburgh to Skerry.